Écoute ton Maurice live and direct. Écoute ton Maurice live and direct. Écoute ton Maurice live and direct. Écoute ton Maurice live and direct.
Hello, bonjour, bonsoir, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet a second episode of Get Personal with Reena. My name is Reena, so welcome to the show. I'd like to thank all the viewers that joined us on our debut show last week. It was a great show. If you've missed it, go to Radio Maurice and take a look at the link to Tay's interview. Today, of course, you would have seen we have another special guest with us today. Let me just give you a few reminders of what she's done. So she was the UK MasterChef winner of 2012. She was the second woman to take the title, in fact, after 8 years, believe it or not. That night alone, she pulled about 6.21 million viewers when the winners were announced that night. Also, she took Mauritian food to a whole new level on British TV. I mean, that's just amazing. Who has the guts to do that? But she did it. She is no one but the chef, author, and restaurant owner, Shelina Permalloo. Please welcome Shelina.
Hi, thank you. Doesn't Reena look gorgeous, everyone?
Oh, come on.
Chilling at home.
Thank you. Bless you. Welcome, Shelina, to the show.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor, and thanks for having me tonight.
Great. How's your day been, and how are you?
I'm good. It's been really busy today, so I've been preparing loads of food, classically.
Lovely to hear.
Valentine's obviously this weekend, hence you're wearing the red.
That's why I'm kicking off Radio Maurice with the Valentine redness going on over here. So Radio Maurice has got lots going on Valentine's weekend.
Yeah. So no, I did a lot of cooking today. Lots of preparing a lot of supper club meals. So we're doing some meal boxes that we're doing for collection tomorrow. So yeah, that was my busy day today. Lots of cooking. Hence why I needed to wash my hair.
It looks great, natural. You're all natural and lovely. You're all relaxed, ready for the show. That's how we like it. So today, Shelina will be filling us a little bit about herself, her latest projects, her future projects as well. She has a special Valentine's recipe for us as well, which we'll be going through. She will be answering some of your questions, which has come into myself, and some of you have put in your questions. So thank you for that. So we'll kick off. We'll get to know Shelina a little bit from the beginning, and then we'll play some clips later on. So stay tuned, guys. So Shelina, we'll kick off with a little bit about you. So you tell us about yourself. Where were you born?
I was actually born in Southampton. All the Mauritians are like, what? How is she Mauritian?
Are you always been in Southampton?
No. So I was born in Southampton, but when I got to about the age of 17, 18, I moved and left for London. and I stayed there for around 12 years, where I did MasterChef and everything. And then after MasterChef, I decided to return back to Southampton and open up my restaurant, La Casa Mama.
Brilliant. Okay. So when did your parents come to the UK?
They came in the 70s. Normally, I think it's the same for most of like the first wave migrants of Mauritians.
Yes.
So they came in the 70s with my sister, who was about 18 months old at the time.
Yeah.
And they ended up in Southampton. I think my dad must have conned my mum and said, you know, let's go to England. We're going to go to Southampton. There's a beach there. It's where the Titanic set sail, so we'll be fine. And then obviously they got here and realised it was nothing like Mauritius.
It's like Plein Rose. What's going on here? Where's the sands?
Yeah. But it's still a really lovely place to be. So I really enjoyed it.
It is really nice. We got a glimpse of it earlier, guys, from her flat. It was beautiful. I got to say, beautiful view. So going back to your parents. So who was the bad cop, mum or dad? Mama, papa?
Bad cop, mum.
Well,
Well,
was it the eyes?
It's
the look?
It's normal though.
Yeah.
You know, I think mums, because they're with you all the time, you get like the worst side of them, whereas the dads are always like, you know, they come in after work, have a little play, and you get all the good sides of your dad. So I think that's probably why. But yeah, mum bringing her savat.
So, Shelina, what were you like as a child?
Oh, crikey. I was always really chatty. Apparently from the pushchair, mum used to push me around and I would sort of wave and say hello to everyone that passed by. And I was always really friendly. I was really into family. I think family was like the biggest thing. So being born Mauritian, but you know, in an English environment, we really held on to our roots. So we would often have Mauritians over every weekend, every cousin, auntie, uncle. So having those family members over was really important to us all. And I personally really held on to those memories.
That's very true what you said. It's true. We are very much in that way. Everybody comes around and you're around as well and everybody gets together.
Yeah.
So, what were you like at school?
At school, I was good and bad. So there was a really good side of me.
There we go. It's all coming out now.
The thing is, I was good at getting the grades and everything like that. So I was always good at studying. I did lots of languages. My dad was actually a language teacher, so I think I might have more possible suivre and chicken. So I think
bon, Shelina. What languages were they?
I did Spanish and French, obviously. French was easy. But yeah, so I did Spanish and French at GCSE.
Okay.
Head girl, actually, at school. I also had, like, the mean girl crowd as well. So I was a bit naughty and nice.
So you had a bit of a mixed crowd going on then. So was it easy for you to make friends being the head girl?
Yeah, it was actually. I always made friends, and I've kept those friends even to now. I've got like my circle of friends that I knew since the age of 7. They're still my best friends now. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's nice. So what did you want to become when you were younger? You know, everybody has their certain dreams. There's so many things going on when you're a kid and in your head. What did you want to be in your school days? What did you think about it then?
So apparently, when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I used to do this role play at the bottom of my parents' bed, and I used to pretend to be a TV chef. And I used to sit there chopping vegetables and things like that.
No way.
My mum only reminded me, like, you know, when after I did MasterChef. And I was quite extravagant in that respect. I think I always wanted to do some kind of, not presenting, but something around food or something like that. So yeah, I think that was something that I always wanted to do. So I did a lot of media work and stuff. And then I also really wanted to cook. So when I was about 14, you know, when you have to apply to do your work experience, I told mum that I wanted to apply to do, a catering kind of project.
Yeah.
She said no. It's not a job when you come to this country for you to be a cook. So, you know, they always tell you.
What did they want you to be?
You know, classic. They want you to do well. You have to go to university.
Oh yes, that's number one.
No question. You can't even think of anything else. So
yes,
I just went to uni, and then I cooked afterwards. So that's what happened. I went around.
Brilliant to hear. It's lovely to hear. Well, you followed your dream, put it that way, from a very young age, and look at what you are today.
I'm seeing loads of questions coming up, so I think Reena's going to get through them slowly.
Yeah, that's later. These guys are just commenting on the video, so there'll be questions as well. So we've got in. So
Hi everyone, but you can see the questions.
The background guy will pull up those questions later as well. So, the cheeky one here. Did you ever get detention at school?
Oh, that's such a good question. I don't think I did actually. I think it was good enough to not get detention. I'm a pakwa.
Okay. Do you know what a rotin bazar is?
Huh?
Would you know what a rotin bazar? Rotin bazar.
I know bazaar, but I don't know rotin bazaar.
Rotin. Tu get good rotin avec moi là. You know, you heard of that?
That's why I didn't get detention.
You didn't get that then from your mum and dad. Rotin bazar. So what? So we got to that. So what food did you grow up with at home?
The food.
Yeah.
So the food that we grew up with was really, when I think about it, it was marze pauvre, you know, like that was kind of the classic kind of food. So lanchi noir, rogai Joseph,
Yes.
sardine.
You're right. Yeah.
You know, bouillon. So all these really kind of simple, homely.
Yeah.
Now we look at it and we think they're beautiful dishes. Now I look back and they're the dishes that I want to cook at home, but those are the dishes that my mum would cook quickly, something that she could find and make the most of it. Even, you know, when we think about having meat now, we're so lucky that we can afford to have meat when we want it.
Yeah.
When then we would have like, you know, lezo, and you don't get all of the meat inside. So yeah, I think we had a lot of that corn mouton was like, you know, when someone came back from Mauritius, we were like, yay, corn mouton is here.
Yeah. You know, with what you've just said there, so many Mauritians can relate to that because this what's gone on in our homes, in my home too. You know, you're spot on with that. It's true. So many homes, so many Mauritians out there. I'm sure you guys are capable relate to ce que Shelina peut dire. It's like when you're at home, il y a des belles chips manger, n'importe qui nous gagne dans le cupboard, nous peut faire nous battons des affaires vite, we eat it. That's it, done. Just to fill up the stomach. Manger chimisia, like you said.
This is what our families were born from, and it was like chimisia, whatever you want to call it. But for me, it's not marze misère. For me, that's like the memory of home cooking.
Yes.
You know? It's what I want to keep having when
it tastes good.
It does taste
good. It fills you up.
It's
and bon bouillon bread, poisson salé, rougail poisson salé with zazzle. That's it. That's all you need. So what age did you take an interest in cooking? You mentioned 14 earlier. Is that correct? Is that when you first did all?
In fact, no. So my mum's the reminder. So apparently I started helping her in the kitchen at the age of 3 or 4, which is actually the same age as my daughter is now. So she's 3 and she's in the kitchen all the time with me. So I can understand that was probably true. So I used to help her pick the lanchi, you know, when they used to come in the big sacks and it had like little
stones
and stones and you know, so I would clean those and just sit there and, you know, the sound of the pressure cooker and the kind of, you know, the metal clanking noise of the pressure cooker. I really remember that growing up. I remember, you know, the sound of the rolling pin like clamping on the table as they're, you know, rolling out the rochi. And these are the memories that I have of being much younger and being in a kitchen environment.
Yeah, it's so true what you're saying. So touching on this from 3 and 4, what did you exactly do in the kitchen to show an interest? Just starting off with the lanchi and stuff like that. But you probably won't remember at that age. You was too young.
I remember, but I assume that there was the hope that there would be a hot rochi at the end of it with butter. Obviously, there must have been some end goal, and that was probably the end goal.
That's it. That's the goal. Oh, bless you. Who is your inspiration and why, Shelina?
So I would certainly say my mum is one of my biggest inspirations, hence La Casa Mama is for my mum. You know, she came to this country at a really young age, and a lot of other Mauritian women can relate to this because it is the story. So she came here when she was like, you know, 18, 19, with a child, not speaking the language, coming here, everything's brand new, moving from, you know, your family home to getting married and having to leave that family home, leave the whole country. And long story short, my dad passed away when I was much younger. So mum has been a single mum all her life, basically. And I just, I find it pretty fierce that she's been able to raise us the way that she has and look after us as well. So yeah, I would say mum's probably the biggest inspiration.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Shelina. What does Mauritian mean to you? Mauritius mean to you? Mauritians.
It's funny because I am British, okay?
Yes.
But Mauritius is like my soul. It like encompasses who I am as a person, as a human, and being raised as a British Mauritian. I think we get the best of both worlds. Like there's part of our culture, and I'm sure we could have a longer chat about that, but there's part of our culture that I love, I adore. And then there's parts of our culture that I don't like so much. And, you know, and I think having both sides of the world means that I get to really appreciate the beauty of Mauritius, but from a different perspective, I think.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So speaking about Mauritius, what's your favorite beach in Mauritius?
Oh, okay. So Trododus, for sure. Like the whole area of Trododus is my favorite. It's where my uncle lives, and I've spent a lot of time there. So yeah, I love it. My mum's is Belmar though. So
okay, yeah. Mind you, they're all really nice, but there's always the areas that you know. Is that where you normally hang out when you go out there?
I also think Trododus is probably one of the areas in the country, excluding the south, which has still got the nature. It hasn't been like rigorously cleaned, you know, by the hotels. So even though it's got the white corals, you know, and the blue sea and everything, it still has like the sea urchins and the black in the sea, and you get to see the difference of the beautiful blue against all the boats and the old boats and the traditions. And yeah, I love it. I just love it.
You're so right with the tourist areas now, with lots of things are taking over, and we don't see much of a cookie anymore on the beach. You know, we used to go and look for coquillage and collect them. We used to come out with bags of them, but now you hardly find much of that.
Exactly, because it's been cleaned so much.
So what's the first Mauritian food you crave the moment you land in Mauritius?
Dal pourri.
Oh wow, she's a dal pourri lover.
Someone's got it from there.
Wow. Okay. Oh wow. Actually, we had a question in which I'm going to read right now since you touched on dal pourri. We had a question from Raj in Kent. He's asked, "What's your secret to making the best dal pourri?" If you any top tips you could give him. If he wants to make the perfect dal pourri at home, and he never goes right, and there's always something missing, what would you recommend?
Oh, crikey, there's 3 things that go wrong, okay?
Go on.
3 things. First thing is people don't cook the gram enough. The dal is cooked enough. You have to cook it enough, and you have to let it go cold and blend it, yeah? So if you don't cook it enough, if you can't press it in between your fingers and it completely crumbles, you can still feel the grain, then it's not cooked. The second problem is la pâte, that it's too dry. It needs to be very, very soft, soft, almost like a soft roti dough. The third thing is don't cook it very long. Like with roti, we wait for the bits of black on the tawa.
Yeah.
With dal pourri, it's quick. You have to cook it, let it like enflé a little bit, and then turn it over quickly. I do have a video on YouTube though, so they can go over to my YouTube.
We'll definitely check that out then. We'll put that on the link on the video afterwards to show what you've done there. Thanks for that, Shelina.
All right.
So how have you been coping with lockdown and homeschooling?
So my daughter's 3 going on 4. So homeschooling is, you know, a combination of Coco Melon for the mummies out there. You know, Baby Shark, dressing up. It's not really hardcore maths. But it's been difficult because obviously I'm juggling the restaurant, keeping other businesses operating. So I have the restaurant, but I do lots of other private work as well, private recipe writing, corporate work, you know, as a businesswoman, keeping myself busy.
Sure. Okay. So with lockdown in mind, on a positive note, Shelina, what things are you doing now that you weren't able to do before?
Spend time at home with my daughter. Actually, even though it's been difficult, it's been a blessing at the same time. And really savoring those moments, like feeding the ducks and, you know, just having moments together that we're always rushing to not kind of have, if that makes sense.
You posted something really cute earlier today. You were holding hands with your daughter on your story on Instagram. It was so sweet. It was really cute. I thought, look at this. It's just a sweet pair of hands holding on to each other. It just showed the love and the calmness of lockdown in a way, like you say. So you can enjoy that time together. So let's get on to MasterChef a little bit now.
Yeah.
Okay. So what prompted you to take part in MasterChef? What was the first initial prompt where you thought, oh, I want to do this? And how the Mauritian influence came to play into it?
So I've always been the cook. So amongst all my friends and family, I'm always the one that either hosts parties or cooks for them. And at uni, it was no different. So when I was at uni, I was always like the person who, uni traditionally, no one eats, do they? Or they don't eat good. They always wait to go home and then get fed.
Yeah.
And I was the woman that was feeding everyone. So,
wow.
I was always eating well at uni. A woman who likes to feed other people. So time went on and I knew that I needed to have a professional job because that's what us Mauritians are here to do. Our parents didn't, the pan travail dur, nek pour moi pour vin and chef in their minds. Do you know what I mean? So I decided to do something professional. And then afterwards, I realized that my passion was cooking and I didn't want to kind of shy away from it anymore. So I applied online. All my friends encouraged me to do it. At the time, there was 25,000 applicants and it went down to the final 70. And right from the beginning, the first dish I ever cooked was like a Mauritian street food ensemble. So I did gâteau piment. I did a rogai with like poisson salé.
Yeah.
And then I did like a kind of zassar pickle thing.
Yeah.
So I did a very like...
Zassar. What was...
Just classic zassar, with cabbage and carrots.
Okay.
So yeah, I just like, zassar lissou. So I did it and then made it look really kind of gastronomic and they loved it. So I thought, zassar, like gâteau piment, rogai, poisson salé and zassar lissou.
Wow. Yeah, you just wow, that's amazing. Because the taste that we have, the Mauritian food is so different. Maybe they thought it was a different menu. That's why they're taking this on board and we definitely like to have more of this again.
I think the thing about us is, I think what's funny about Mauritians, we as Mauritians, as a country, we allow everyone into our island, yeah? We're the most hospitable island. But when it comes to like our simplicity of food, we don't shout about it so much. We always talk about other recipes from different countries. No one sits there and says, our zassar lissou is amazing in a baguette. Whereas in Korea, we talk about kimchi. And that's made from, it's a pickle, it's made from cabbage, and it's fermented. It's almost got a similar type of cooking. And kimchi's massive. Everyone has kimchi in their fridge. And, zassar lissou is almost like the same. So I think we should be really so proud of our unique ethnic roots, the unique kind of diversity of our food. And that's what I'm really passionate about, to be honest.
I agree with you totally. I agree on that. So does this sound familiar to you, Shelina? Octopus served on a marinated fennel and ginger, mutton curry with a chili pumpkin roulade, mango cannelloni filled with lime curd.
Oh yeah,
what was that?
So those were my final dishes for MasterChef. Those are the ones, the dishes that gave me the trophy finally. So the inspiration for the main was set curry. Okay.
Yeah.
So the inspiration was, how we have set curry, but normally it's vegetarian. But I think like the dry masala of a mutton is really delicious. So I wanted to include that. I did râpé banane in there, like the pickle, and with the green like pickle and everything, and they loved it.
Yeah.
And I had pumpkin in there. It was really traditional. The starter was in my mind was like a play on salad orit. Okay.
Yep.
So it's got the vinegar, it's got all the pickling ingredients, but it was presented in a really beautiful way. And the pudding was really playful, just flavors. It was a samosa, basically. It was a chocolate samosa with mango and coconut and a load of other tropical flavors.
You presented it really well, and it just, it smashed You smashed the show that day. You made so many Mauritians proud that night. I think it was like, what? What's going on here?
And to be honest, when I see Mauritians and they share the love with me, like the energy that I get from my people is so lovely. It just makes it all worthwhile.
Of course. But I'm so proud of you that you did something like this to take it to British TV. It takes guts, because a lot of us would feel reluctant. Nous passiez un peu content, but you did it. Well done to you. So, but I would like to know a little bit more. What was going on through your mind at the time, though? What was happening inside of Shelina's head while all this? Well, we were seeing you on TV, but what was going on with you inside? Did you have any inkling and thinking, this could be me?
Like, no way in this way. Basically, I think they call it imposter syndrome, don't they? When you're sort of placed in an environment and you think, I shouldn't be here, I'm not good enough. So each and every time they got me through like another stage, I was like, oh my God, I don't even know like what I'm doing here and why I've just won that challenge. But one thing it did make me realize was actually, Mauritian cuisine is so unique, so diverse, and it's something that not many people really know about. And I just loved being able to share that with the world.
Brilliant. You did a fantastic job with it. So we had a question in from Taz in London. She wants to know, what was MasterChef like as a contender? What were some of the challenges, highs and lows of the show?
Okay, so as a contender, it was incredibly stressful. So if you can imagine preparing for the interview of your life, imagine that job that you really want and having to do that interview every single day for 3 months. So that's how stressful it was. In terms of being a contender, it was just really difficult. I just didn't think I was good enough. I always saw, I'm going to be honest, and it's not even a racist comment, but we always see like white men win those shows. And it's normally a white male chef who wins with European flavors. So for me to come with my Zasar Banan and, all these unique, interesting, weird and wacky flavors that we were brought up, having, it was just really inspiring to think that I could compete against people who I thought were better than me, basically.
Yeah. Yes, you mentioned a point there on the male. It's true. Why do you think there's more male chefs out there as well on that point?
I think there is tradition around it. I think, traditionally, women have taken on a caring role and responsibility in family. So we're normally the primary caregiver, either to our elders, either to extended families or to our children. So actually, I was just seeing some of the messages.
So Denise is saying that she remembers when she jumped off her seat screaming at the TV.
So yeah, I think traditionally that's the reason why. I also think it is a very male-dominated environment. You think of Gordon Ramsay and he's just shouting and swearing at everyone. So I think that scares some women off. And then now I think women have a choice. I think there's so much more choice. Women have a bit more freedom when it comes to the kind of jobs that they want to do and where they see themselves. We have more flexibility. So I think that's why it's changing more now than before.
Okay. So tell us how you celebrated your victory in winning MasterChef behind the doors. We didn't see that. So what did you...
I've just seen a question. It's from Colo. Colo, if you were invited to cook for Boris Johnson at number 10, what would you cook him? Mate would not get fed. He would be... So that's my answer. I wouldn't cook for him.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for your honesty. I like it. That is so too funny.
Just let them go. Yeah.
Oh wow. Ah la la. So Shelina, how does it feel? Oh, did you say you celebrated your victory winning MasterChef?
So in terms of the celebration, I celebrated with family. Yeah. So it was a really kind of intimate celebration. I couldn't celebrate too much because the following morning I had to be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to go on to TV. So
yeah. Oh, that's where your life changed. Obviously, everything changed from there, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
So how does it feel to be an inspiration to others?
a bit scary sometimes, to be honest, because I'm a bit scared that sometimes I might say the wrong thing. You're like Boris telling him to get lost, basically. But I wouldn't tell Boris that in real. No, I probably would actually. But no, in terms of being an inspiration, I just think I am an everyday woman, and I also think that I'm only an inspiration because of the people around me. So the women who raised me and the women who supported me. That's probably the reason why I am who I am. So it's not me, it's them.
Oh, bless you. So, Shelina, you have two publications behind you. You've written 2 books now.
Yes.
So we have Sunshine on a Plate, which was released in 2013, and The Sunshine Diet 2015. Yes. Yeah. Okay. They look lovely. They look great. So those 2 books there. What prompted and encouraged you to write these books? And any plans for the next book?
So the first 2 books were part of a joint publishing deal. The first book was always going to be a Mauritian book, but I also included a couple of recipes which were quite unique as well. So things like mussels with watermelon sauce, which you wouldn't expect.
No.
Yeah. Does have in there.
So where do these ideas come from? Do you just try it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. You either travel, and when you travel, you get to see the way that other people cook, or you absorb things from the way that it's tradition, I suppose. But the first book was based on tradition, so a lot of the recipes are either adaptations or versions of Mauritian cuisine. So, for example, in there I've got gâteau piment avec crabe. Okay, which you can't expect working so well, but it's absolutely a delicious pairing. Okay, it works so well. So the first book was really a Mauritian cookbook, and that's this one. So that one's called Sunshine on a Plate. One you'll notice in there has got this is this is Trododus actually. So you'll see lovely pictures of Mauritius in there. This is Carocan.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And just things like, look, and beau crabe bouillon crabe. So
that looks great.
Simple recipe.
Oh wow, bouillon crabe is a favorite in the family.
And this is my second book, which was called The Sunshine Diet. And in fact, it was originally meant to be a world cuisine book, but the recipes are really healthy. So they wanted to include it as a diet book. So it's got really interesting and unique recipes. It's got inspiration from Africa, from China, from the Middle East. So it's a really delicious cookbook. Both of them are lovely, but I would say my first baby was this one, really.
How long did it take you to write these books and put them together with all the pictures and all the organizational?
I would say a solid 1.5 years for the first one. The second one took me, because I was on deadline for that one, I had 9 months to write it. So yeah, it does take a while. It takes up to 1 year to write a book. And I'm definitely looking at writing some more books. I'm just trying to.
Brilliant. We look forward to that.
Space for it.
Yeah, because we had a few questions asking, when is Shelina going to write next book? Any plans? So we'll ask her today. So how do you create a new dish? Improvise, or you look up a previous recipe from someone and build your own?
Oh no. So I wouldn't, if I use someone's recipe, I would always say it's someone's recipe. That's something that really bugs me, by the way. I think there's something about ownership of content, I suppose. So if I've taken inspiration, then that's fine. But I think a lot of the recipes that I have got and made have been from watching people cook. So I'm a real visual cook. So if you invited me to your house, I'd say, can we go and see your grand-mère or something? And would sit down and see how she prepares, dal pourri, or see how she prepares her, curry, or something. And I would learn from her style. And I think that's the best way to create recipes. And that's how your brain kind of thinks outside of the box.
That's really good to know. So tell us about the experience. You went to Mauritius to film 8 episodes of ITV Lorraine's in 2015. And your first day, you experienced an cyclone Chivini.
It's hilarious, yeah.
What happened there? What did you do?
So frustrating, okay? So the world of TV, I had 3 days to shoot 8 episodes for Lorraine. When we were on the plane, as soon as we left, when they say, oh, weather in Mauritius, and normally you're waiting for them to say, it's clear blue skies and it's going to be 30 degrees. He went, there's a cyclone on its way. And I was like, no way. We get coming into Mauritius and there's turbulence. and
Yeah.
we arrive, and it was a mess. So there wasn't even any fish. The fishermen couldn't go fishing. We had 2 segments where we had to go fishing. So yeah, we just had to make do basically, but it was a lot of fun. It was nice to be on the island. A lot of Mauritians, you know how like, local people, local Mauritians, if they see a camera crew, they don't know what to do. So I had my camera crew with me, and I'm going to markets and I'm asking questions. Like we went to Flack Market, and we were trying to film, those wonderful segments where you walk through a bustling market and it's meant to look really natural.
Yes.
But it wasn't, because all the market holders and all the customers were just staring at me. I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was like telling everyone, I was like, look, we're filming, fair shopping, laisse-moi ici. And then I was trying to walk, and they were like, qu'est-ce que ça? Pour TV ça?
Ouais, j'ai envie de tu là, ouais.
It was hilarious. So each time we filmed, I had to explain to everyone, oh, we're here filming. And then they said, oh, you're the girl who did the show. You won the show. Ah, bien bon ça. And then they'll say to me their own recipe. And they say, next time you go on TV, cook my recipe.
C'est ça. Ouais, tu besoin faire ça comme ça. Non, tu besoin mettre ça là-dedans. They'll give you the tips as well, what to do. That's brilliant, Shelina. On that note, we're going to take a look at a clip of you in Mauritius. So, Darren, can you cue clip 1 for me? The Roscari scene, please.
Fait bien faux même.
Oui,
hein?
moi, mon compte comme ça, mais
Ok. And then après ça, qu'il y en a,
après ça, nous pouvons un petit de citron, un petit de sec et du sel.
après ça, nous non.
De l'huile.
De l'huile. Ok.
Oui.
Alors, me laisse-toi la main et moi, on va voir si toi, un peu, si je suis capable.
Normalement, quand mon petit, mon trouve, mon tantine, mon maman, ils fait le roscari.
Roscari.
Oui, mais moi, mon peine de temps, mais il y a beaucoup de travail pour faire.
Moi, envie que toi, quand tu crasses, ça, le
Non,
roscari, hein.
on prend ça.
En tout cas, c'est facile, hein.
Un petit peu facile, parce que aujourd'hui même, nous pas le temps pour cuire.
Bonne madame.
Oui, nous avons besoin de travail, nous avons besoin
No,
des enfants.
that's
nous
an
besoin-
excuse the
Non,
woman
pas
always
vrai.
look for.
Mais ça, si on a ça dans la case, bien bon.
C'est une facilité, bien sûr.
Oui. Là, nous pouvons mettre tous les ingrédients en dedans.
I love that. How you put it so straightforward about the Roscari. And he was really adamant you got to use the Roscari. No, we don't have the time. What was that? What was that like? Going there, it makes me want to go to Mauritius. I love that clip where you've just, it just looks so serene. It just made me want to be back home.
That was actually in the gardens of the Four Seasons. So it was really, really beautiful. And it's just really funny because that particular segment you showed, I did the whole thing in Creole. The actual presenter said, look, can you do it in Creole? And I said, that's fine, no problem. I said, but you have to remember my Creole's in chicken, like, casse and chicken. And he was like, no, that's fine. So we're gonna speak Creole. So we're speaking Creole. And he was responding in English. And I was like, oh, okay.
Arrivé, man. Arrivé, man. Moi, je mon travail, vous pouvez moi avec créole, la seule vous cause anglais en moi. What?
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
the thing is when I speak Creole, because I don't get to speak it so much, I'm at home with my baby, and then I'm at work, I speak to mum on the phone, but we got lazy where we speak English with each other,
Yeah,
I speak Creole and I speak back English. So speaking, when I'm with Mauritians, it takes like, about a week in Mauritius to get my brain back into Creole, and then I'm back in, it's like
yeah, it's true. Yeah, I've got to think about it sometimes. That word, okay, I've got to turn it from English to French or whatever. It's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So let's talk a little bit about Mum's House, La Case Mama, which opened in 2016. Congratulations on opening your own restaurant, Shelina. And it will be celebrating its third anniversary this year, isn't it?
fifth anniversary.
Yeah, no, sorry, fifth. It's 2016, isn't it? So yeah, we
back a few years, and then I'd get my black hair back, not my grey patch. So it's 5 years. La Case Mama was always like the ultimate dream. And when I first won MasterChef, I had 2 choices. I could either go down the Michelin route and go for fine dining, or I could save my money and do something a bit more simple. Now, fine dining is beautiful, and don't get me wrong, I love fine dining, but I've got to a point in my life where I can't be bothered to wear any heels, and I hate to get dressed up. I know, Reena, you look beautiful. I can't be bothered anymore. Like I just put this on and I want to.
Oh, bless you. Oh,
And-
gosh.
And the whole point about La Casa Mama is it's fast casual. So you can go out like this. You can go out like you as well, Reena. You'll be welcome. You know.
I'm definitely coming, Shelina. When lockdown's over, definitely make a visit.
Create something that feels like mum's house. And you know, when you feel like we're going to mum's house, you bring, you chill out, you kick back, you relax, you eat, you get messy, and that experience can happen at the restaurant. It's really child friendly. And the whole point was to allow people to explore the flavors of Mauritius, but with modern twists. So Mauritians, the thing is, like I would say 80% of the Mauritians that have come are amazing, like so proud, so real, so the same as you and I. And then you have the 20%, okay? And then they come and they just don't like anything. Okay, so you come and they'll say,
Where?
You can cook it yourself, but it's the first time that something like this has been brought to England. And I think, a gâteau piment for us is just so simple, okay? But gâteau piment for the non-Mauritian community, when done really well, is something really beautiful. We've had a few complaints on TripAdvisor saying, the chefs are not Mauritian, Shelina's not there, and things like that. And actually, the restaurant has to exist without me there every day. Just like any business person, you have a restaurant, you have a concept, you end up doing other jobs, but you can't be cooking every single day.
Yeah.
So, I think the restaurant itself is a beautiful kind of exploration of Mauritian cuisine. There's meat, so you'll certainly get orit, you'll get rochi, you get, magic bowl, I call it, which is the bowl of
yes.
And bon curry, you kind of get a really, someone's written bon piment. Yeah, so we have good piment limon. We make all our masala in-house. We sell all of our sauces as well. We've got all our hot sauce range, and I'm just really proud of it. I'm proud of the staff. I'm proud of the people. I love my customers, and it's just a really wonderful, sunshine, tropical restaurant.
Yeah, so you should be. It's the first Mauritian restaurant, isn't it, opened in the UK?
It's the first kind of concept of this
Mauritian food. Yeah, put a twist into it. You've got to. It's got to be done. It's got a taste for, accommodate for a lot of tastes as well.
Exactly, that's the whole point.
So what were the peak and troughs in building that business?
Crikey, so many things. Building a restaurant is actually physically exhausting. So there was a lot of kind of problems with the property itself. The hardest thing is finding staff. And I think a lot of business people will have this kind of thing that staff is what make your business. And finding the right team is the most important thing. And I'm really proud to say that my management team is all female. So I have a female general manager and a female head chef, and us three, including my mum. So us four, I would say, it's just a really wonderful place to work. My staff are incredible, and really without them, I wouldn't have that restaurant. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. So it's all females. And how have you trained these staff to know how you like to work? Did it take a lot of? Was it hard? Basically, is it something you expected would be easy? How was that?
It's a bit like a relationship. Everything is a compromise. So something might be really important to me, and then as I open, I realize it's actually not so important. What's more important is the customers have an amazing experience, or what could be important is the quality of the food, consistent quality of the food, and you sort of have to let little things go. But no, I love it. It's just a home from home, basically.
Okay, so what is the most complicated dish you've ever made, and why?
I think the most complicated dish I ever made, in fact, it was when I went to Thailand in MasterChef, and I got to cook for one of the princes in Thailand.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was incredibly complicated. I had 5.5 hours, and I chose the most ridiculous dessert to do. And it was so complicated, so labor intensive, something that I know locals don't even do within 5 hours. So I think that was probably the hardest.
So if I came to your house, Shelina, what foods would I find in your fridge and freezer?
We'll go on Deliveroo. No, I'm joking. The freezer is full of Classic. Like I honestly, if you opened up my freezer, you'd think an old Mauritian woman lives here. It's got frozen curry leaves, frozen thyme. It's got frozen coriander, garlic, ginger, râpé. We've got râpé manioc in the freezer. Yeah, I'm a frozen hoarder. There's meat in there. There's fish. There's octopus. Bits and bobs everywhere.
Nice, you got every bit of everything. So how do you choose a good knife? You know, everybody's always cooking and we watch the cooks and always the knife just slides straight through.
Okay, you asked that question because I'm in my kitchen. Okay, so we have the classic, yeah? It's classic Mauritian, and we use it for everything, okay? I think for your curries, for your vegetables. So that's a good kind of, that's a good like Chinese, that's a good couteau, yeah?
Bon couteau ça là, pas qu'un message ça là.
The problem is, with this, you can't really do the detailed chopping, okay? So if you want to do detailed chopping, my advice is to get one of these, okay? Now look at the difference in size. This one is 7 inches, and it's an all-rounder. I would call it a chef's knife, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you can end up doing pretty much everything that you need to do with this.
Yeah.
So you can do fine dicing. You can, you know, chop meat and everything with it. So yeah, it's up to you. You can either go old school, okay? This holds a purpose for some things and for scaring kids. But yeah, this is my traditional, this is the knife that I would use the most actually. And I would say it's more of a traditional chef's knife.
Nice. Oh, lovely. Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for showing us that, Shelina. So of all the chefs you've cooked for, what was the most memorable meal you've made?
Of all the chefs that I cooked for,
yeah.
Crikey, I've cooked for a lot of chefs. Most memorable. Michel Roux Jr. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Michel Roux Jr. is adorable. He's also, you know, quite handsome to look at. But no, he's so nice, so lovely. When I cooked for him on MasterChef, basically he said that my food reminded him of being back in Mauritius. He opened up his second restaurant in Mauritius, which was called Le Gavroche Tropical. Okay. The first time they'd taken Le Gavroche out of England, out of, you know, the French kind of conglomerate.
Yeah.
And he said that my curry tasted like what the locals would cook him for his staff meal.
Wow.
And he said it brought back that beautiful memory of the island and homeliness and the traditions. And I would say that was probably most memorable, actually.
Oh, bless you. Okay. So we touched on how it's a juggling act, you know, being a mother and also your business. So we touched on that already. So what would you say is the biggest misconception about you?
Oh, I don't know if there is. I think the question should go out if people know, if you have a misconception. I think your opinion.
I think this interview will clear everybody's misconception of you. We had a few good comments earlier. Somebody quoted, "Oh, you're so humble, blah blah blah." So this is good. They're seeing the real you, know, the real person that you are.
No, I mean, I'm a bit shouty in the kitchen, but I think most women are shouty.
Sometimes you've got to shout to get the job done, I suppose, haven't you? Anyway,
I don't know what the preconception would be. I'm not sure because I don't really know. So yeah.
Okay, no problem. So we're going to view a clip of your Valentine's recipe now. And Shelina, you're going to talk us through this recipe. Darren, can you cue that, please?
Okay, so this is my rose and pistachio cake, which everyone loves on Instagram. And I have to say, it's one of the most easiest recipes to make. The actual batter is made with ground almonds. It's got butter in it. It's got oil as well. So the combination of butter and oil makes for it to be a really, really moist and really sumptuous cake. The rose and pistachio, I think, are very charming and very romantic as a combination. I think rose and pistachio is a classic combination. It's almost got the flavor of a maspa, but it's got the kind of richness running through it. So to make it, all you really need to do is mix all the ingredients together, excluding the topping, which is the icing. The icing is literally just made out of icing sugar, a few bits, a bit of lemon juice, a bit of pink food coloring if you want, just for an added kind of, you know, beauty. And then literally just put so many rose petals over the top. You can eat the rose petals, make sure they're the good kind of quality edible rose petals. Where do I buy the roes for baking? You can get them from most international supermarkets, actually. You can actually get it from Waitrose. They have really good quality Waitrose. Can this be made gluten-free? I haven't tried it with gluten-free flour, but I think it would work, to be honest with you. I think you could try it.
That's great. Thanks, Shelina. And we can find out more. That menu is on her Instagram page. So do check out her page if you want to find out more about that. And she's got plenty more recipes on there anyway. So any future plans to open new restaurants in London or elsewhere? This question is from Kevin in London.
I really wanted to be honest with you, but London is melting at the moment in terms of the restaurant businesses.
Yes.
And we're in a bit of a kind of difficult time. So I think the business for me is going to change slightly over the next year, but I'm definitely opening up more La Casa Mama. So coming for you, the world, La Casa Mama.
Great to hear. I live in Kent, so I don't go to Southampton often, but wow, if there's one around the corner, definitely. But besides that, I'll have to take a trip to Southampton one day. So any future projects, anything you can reveal to us right now, what your next goal is, other than the restaurants and the books?
I don't think I can reveal anything.
You're still carrying on with your private dining and
all my
projects?
Yeah, so I have projects that are ongoing. One of the main things is I'm doing lots of virtual classes now. So I run all my classes online. So if people book me, they can book me privately or corporately. So I do lots of corporate work. So, you know, groups of staff can book me for a Zoom class.
Okay.
Teach them the basics of how to cook different recipes. I've had to do quite a lot of one-to-one classes on dal pourri, by the way, and I've done family parties on Zoom to make dal pourri. So yeah, there's lots there. Yeah,
you keep yourself really occupied, Shelina. So you've got lots going on, which is great, and you organise yourself really, really well. So Davey from Dartford wants to know, what's your secret or recommendation in making a tasty fish biryani, as it tends to become dry when she makes it?
Okay. So the key is to obviously, I think when you're making a fish biryani, there's two things you need to do. The first thing is make sure you parboil your rice. When you parboil it, you're taking the edge away from like cooking. Because I did before when I was speaking a little bit of Creole before.
Don't worry. Continue.
So make sure you parboil your rice, but don't cook it all the way, just towards the edge. So cook it a bit longer than what you would do for like a meat biryani or something. And then with the fish, just don't chop it small. Make sure you use a whole exactly with the liaison ensemble as well. That would be perfect. So to take a whole chunk of the fish and then have that in chunks. What makes it taste more tender is to make sure you marinate it with yogurt. The yogurt will increase its juicy succulentness. So don't just do a dry marinade. Make sure there's yogurt on there as well.
Okay, that's good to know. So if you could only cook with one ingredient or spice for the rest of your life, what would that be? That's from Maya and Brighton.
The thing is, I can't live without salt. So it would have to be
salt.
Salt and piment.
Okay. Any advice you would give to an amateur cook from Taz in London?
Okay, so for amateur cooks, my advice is to cook from your heart and keep true to who you are. Don't try and copy someone else. Don't try and be someone else, because what you are is the best version of you. So that's what I would say. Okay.
What is your take on Mauritian cuisine to cater for European market? That's from Simbo, UK.
My advice is don't downplay our flavors. Our flavors are what they are, and I think it's beautiful. I think I made the mistake of like dumbing down our spice and our chili and all this kind of stuff when I first opened the restaurant. Then I had to review the recipes and get them back to normal. So I think just be who we are, really.
Wow, we've got 5 minutes left. We're really pressed for time, and I have plenty more on here, but it looks like I won't have time. You'll have to come back, and I have a fire round for you too. We haven't had time to prep that in there, but I think you can come back up definitely, because we've got quite a few more shows going on. So you could do a tour like Tay. We'll put you in after. We'll come back and chat again, and then you'll have another recipe for us. So before you go, what has been your most precious memory so far?
The most precious memory was opening up La Casa Mama. But in my entire life was giving birth to my baby girl.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing to say. Oh, bless you, Shelina. Well, it's been really great talking to you today. and I feel there's so much more we can learn from you. This turned out really better than I thought. Actually, there's so much to learn from you. You're such an inspiration, and you love Mauritius. I love the fact that you really know very well, for someone who's born here, tu connais bien les affaires mauriciennes, tu connais culture, and you know how to bring it all together. And it's such a warm feeling. It's such a great feeling to have spoken with you today. It really was. And I hope all you viewers have enjoyed the show today. It was an absolute pleasure talking with you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I couldn't answer everyone's questions, but I'm sure we're going to have that part 2 with Reena. So yeah.
We sure will do, Shelina. Thank you once again. And thank you to all your viewers out there. Stay tuned. We have more coming for you. We have DJ Shaney playing you some Bollywood tunes or Sega tunes all into one. It's all going to be mixed up as Radio Maurice does it. Stay well and look after each other and take care.